I'm Jason Bellamy, coming to you from Las Vegas in CSM 2014, and I'm joined by Matt DeBole. Matt is the president of the Student Assembly Board of Directors. So before we go any farther, let's talk about what the Student Assembly is. The Student Assembly is every student member of APTA. If you're a student member of APTA, you are in the Student Assembly. So the Student Assembly Board of Directors is elected every year at NSC, serves for a year. You're the president this year, you were director last year, so you've been on for 2 years. When we're talking about what the Student Assembly Board's working on now, tell me about some of those past initiatives that previous boards had worked on that you're carrying forward at this moment.
Yeah, you're right. So every year it's a challenge to try to continue some of the work that the boards have done in previous years. So this year we're pretty much focusing on 3 things to carry forward, and 3 big things. Actually, tonight is one of our biggest, and that's a bylaws change. So at the recommendation of last year's board, they realized that the treasurer position is actually an at-large position now. There are no finances to manage. The budget is kind of inconsequential at this point. We always seek any sort of approval through APTA anyway. So knowing that and knowing that membership is really important, the recommendation was made that we change that treasurer position to a director of membership instead. So we're actually holding our student assembly forum just down the hall, and we will be holding a student assembly, so membership vote on that amendment to see if it passes. There's also another one that we're kind of bringing through this year, and that's an inner collaboration with some of the other healthcare professionals. And an idea that was brought up and we're going to carry through is inviting some of the medical students, nursing students, dentistry students to our national student conclave so they can really see the passion and energy of the physical therapy students and what we're doing here on our side of the healthcare equation. And then the last thing that we want to bring forward too is that flash action strategy that really was the light bulb moment for a lot of students in that they can impact the legislative landscape and really make a difference for us as physical therapists. So we're looking to exceed the 20,000 letters that were sent to Congress in 72 hours. There are currently 98 co-sponsors in the Senate, or in the House, and 6 in the Senate for the PT Workforce and Patient Access Act. We're going to try to get that through Congress this year, and we're going to need everybody's help to do that.
So so that'll be an old campaign that will revive. You'll set the dates for it. There'll be communications coming out about that when the appropriate time. So those are things you're carrying forward. What are some new things that this current board is looking to kind of put their own stamp on?
Sure. So the candidates ran on a few positions at NSC, and we want to make sure that a lot of their great ideas are brought forward and heard and executed throughout the year. So one thing that we're looking for is trying to increase access to conferences. Now that could be national conferences or state conferences, and we believe that there's a sweet spot as well, and that's in regional conferences. So states like New York and New Jersey, it makes a lot of sense. We saw the Super Bowl collaborate for that exact same reason. We also envision maybe the Pacific Northwest, maybe Virginia, DC, and Maryland. So some of these states can collaborate to create a central spot for a lot of schools to meet, and it's not too far of a drive, it's not too much of a commitment, but they gain all the benefits of a conference. Another membership initiative that we're looking to start is a transparency initiative, and we're calling it the Student Assembly Exchange. And the exchange is going to be a live video conference and Twitter chat every month. We're going to launch it at the end of this month, and you should have just received the Pulse today, and there's more details in the Pulse about that. So we're really looking forward to increasing transparency as well.
So speaking of great ideas, you guys have been together this week. You're not only together as a board, you're seeing other students. What great ideas are starting to percolate now?
Yeah, so it's really interesting walking around and hearing a lot of the conversations. So there are 2 pretty big things that we're trying to stay flexible for and to be able to adjust throughout 2014. One thing is certainly anything that's brought up at the House of Delegates in June for APTA Next. So we want to make sure that our delegates are staying informed on the communities page. Any of that discussion that takes place here is really important that we keep track of so that we know how to best represent the student opinion while we're in the House of Delegates. So that's something we're trying to stay focused on. But there are also these other things along the lines of student chat, so DPT student chat or even PT pub nights, things like that grow organically. We want to make sure we have the resources to promote them. And luckily we have a lot of well-established project committees that are able to do that and help us stay flexible throughout the entire year. But of course, there are always ideas floating out there. There's always ways that we can bring your ideas forward. So if there are any issues that you'd like to see addressed from our end, please communicate with us, because we are so willing and open to work with you to try to address the needs of membership.
And let's really quickly, why don't you tick off for me all those ways that people can either get involved with the loop or, for example, just follow on social media and all those things that are out there.
Yeah, so I guess with social media, there's a big push for this conference to be social and to stay social. So you can follow us on Twitter, APTA SA. But also, we're trying to involve people in other ways, obviously. So in the classroom, we're going to initiate a classroom initiative, try to give class presidents or maybe the APTA liaison resources to serve their classmates. So that's a way to get involved right in the classroom. But also, you can get involved in your district level, in your state level, but also sections as well. And we're asking a lot from those components this year. We're really pushing for them to include you in a lot of their processes so that students become more integrated in the components.
So if you want to learn about these kind of initiatives that are going on, there's a lot of great resources for current students at the APTA website, apta.org/current students, also apta.org/the loop. I encourage you to go check those resources out, see what's going on. There's also ways that you can send messages to the Student Assembly Board of Directors, either whether you just have a question or you have an idea, and you can move those things forward. Matt DeBole, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason.
I am Jason Bellamy, and I'll be here all week giving you dispatches from Las Vegas. If you want to watch the other dispatches, go to apta.org/CSM/video. Catch you later.